Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you who have been around the channel since the very beginning, first of all, I want to say thank you and acknowledge the fact that the channel is looking a little bit different these days. In fact, for those of you who have been here, you're well aware that this channel actually used to be about cruising. So I used the channel to upload videos that were tips and tricks, ship tours, and really just generally documenting all of the vacations that we had gone on. In fact, we had done 16 cruises in the last 5 years, and I can without a doubt say that it is one of my favorite ways to travel. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the cruise industry is coming back anytime soon. In fact, we were on one of the very last ships that was sailing when the president got on to the TV and said, "No more." Hey guys, so I am actually on board the Carnival Breeze right now as we speak, and as we were pulling away out of port, there was a notification on my Facebook page that the Carnival Panorama, which is based out of Los Angeles, is actually being delayed for de-embarkation because of fear of the virus. In fact, we didn't even know if we were going to be able to get off of the ship because there had been other ships that had had cases on board, and unfortunately those people were quarantined on the ship for quite a long time. So there was a brief period where we were really nervous that we weren't even going to be able to come home to our jobs until we knew that our ship was clear. Thankfully, that was not the case. We were able to get off the ship. There were no positive cases, and we are still so grateful for that. Fast forward 11 months, and we still do not have any US ships that are in operations at this moment. And honestly, it's going to be a while before they are. They just sent out another cancellation that is canceling cruises from March 31st, some of them April, May. There are ones that were canceled in October. So it's going to be a while before cruising is back to full operations. In fact, Carnival themselves has said that they don't expect full operations back until 2022. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to cruise at all until 2022. They just don't expect to have full ships until then. And a lot of that is contingent on really the vaccine, if there's any kind of mutations that occur, what happens with this particular illness and how they're going to handle it. According to the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in order for the cruise ships to go back into operations, they actually have to go out and do a test voyage with volunteers. This isn't per company, this is per ship. So if Carnival owns 15 ships, I have no idea how many Carnival ships there are. I really should know that information. It's probably a lot. It's not probably, it is a lot more. But let's just say for right now, the number is 15. All 15 ships individually have to do a test cruise, proving that they are able to contain and handle any kind of outbreak that might occur on the ship. And then and only then will the CDC actually give them a license to operate. Now, the thing about it is according to the CDC, it is going to be at least 60 days before the start of any voyage. So they have to do this kind of test voyage, and then 60 days out, once they've passed that, they can actually start having paid onboard customers. So you can see why that's going to be a bit of a time lag, because honestly, if you've ever been on one of these ships, they are huge. So trying to coordinate and make sure that all of your staff fully understands exactly how to contain should any outbreak occur, it's going to take a lot of training, a lot of money, and a lot of resources to make sure that that happens. Now let's get into the real reason why I made this video. So Carnival in particular is a stock that I am interested in because we actually own 100 shares. Now, the reason we own 100 shares in Carnival is that once you reach 100 shares of Carnival, you actually get benefits for being a shareholder in the company. And part of that benefit is that you get onboard credit every time you go on a cruise. So we did make it a goal to make sure that we had purchased 100 shares of Carnival. And at the time that we purchased it, it ran anywhere from $35 to $45 per share. So it was a bit of an investment at the time, but we were cruising enough that it made sense to us to just go ahead and invest. And honestly, Carnival stock was doing pretty well at the time that we had purchased, which was around the end of 2019. Now, fast forward, and as luck would have it, the stock plummeted. So due to the illness, they ended up getting stock prices for Carnival down to just under $8 per share. So we went from our highest priced stock price being $45 all the way down to under $8 in valuation for the stock. So as a shareholder in Carnival, I really honestly have not been paying that much attention to it, because when you see that your stocks that you purchased at around $40 to $45 have fallen all the way down to $8, it makes you a little sad. So I'll be honest, I haven't really been paying attention, but this week in a Facebook group that I'm in, I saw a news article reporting that some of the top executives at Carnival have actually been selling off their stock. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there was a small amount of panic that set through to my body, except then all of a sudden it didn't. Because when I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, you know, honestly, I kind of already figured that we had lost that money. So I kind of went through that mourning process and I'm over it. Stocks are back up. They're way better than $8 right now. So I'm not going to be too upset about it. But it did get me interested and I wanted to kind of get into it. Carnival stock has been on the uprise in the last couple months, as the market as a whole has been. So it's no surprise that the stock prices have climbed. Now, the thing that we're seeing with Carnival is that we went from $45 a stock all the way down to $8. We're now back up to about $20, so still less than half of what it was originally, selling for before this whole outbreak occurred. But we are seeing a little bit of an uptick, which is really great for anybody who purchased it prior to everything happening, and really fantastic for anybody who purchased it at $8 per share. So the real question, especially as a stockholder, that I'm having to ask myself right now is it worth it to keep my Carnival stock? As of Carnival's fourth quarter reporting, they lost $2 billion in that quarter, and it's estimated that they are in debt for anywhere from 10 to 19 billion. I couldn't find an exact number because I don't know if people were trying to report on just what they've lost during the pandemic or if it was a total debt, but we know that Carnival themselves are in debt roughly anywhere from 10 billion all the way up to $19 billion. According to Carnival's chief financial officer, David Bernstein, he said in a press release that Carnival has the liquidity in place to sustain themselves throughout 2021, even in a zero revenue environment. This means that if there are no paid customers all the way through 2021, Carnival has assured us that they have enough cash assets to at least get them through until 2022. Carnival has acknowledged that there are a few factors that are going to play into whether or not they are able to get their ships up and running this year. The first being whether or not there is a development of a lower cost testing option. The next thing that they acknowledge is the fact that in order to get cruising up and running again, a vaccine is going to have to be in place. They're not going as far as to say that it's going to be required for all passengers. In fact, the quote is, "The pace of the distribution of vaccines will certainly influence the pace of our recovery." So what they are saying without saying is it sounds like they might actually be requiring a vaccine. That is not on record. I do not want to start some kind of argument in the chat or in the comments down below. We don't know that Carnival is going to require a vaccine, but what we do know is there is a cruise line over in Europe that currently is. So I have a feeling that Carnival is kind of sitting back, watching how that goes, and then they'll make more determination on whether or not they're going to require it for their passengers. Now, obviously, prices of stock have come back up. We have seen that in almost every single industry, but the hardest hit arguably is the cruise industry. They have gone almost an entire year without a single paid customer on board. I had put in money into Carnival stock when it was $8. There's a small part of me that admittedly probably would pull it out right now, but since we actually put it in when it was significantly more money, I'm a lot more likely to just sit on it and just let it ride, see what happens. The actual shareholder benefits that you get from owning Carnival stock actually seems to outweigh any potential loss that might happen. It is a gamble. Every time you purchase a stock, it is a gamble. This is one that I'm going to take because I have a very strong suspicion for myself that I think that cruising is going to come back.
All right, guys, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it. That will email you and notify you every time that I post a video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments, please leave them down below. I really appreciate it. Anything to help with the YouTube algorithm. And trust me, every time I say YouTube algorithm, it's hard for me to say. So if you could just give me a like, even for getting through that little phrase, that'd be great. But no, guys, seriously, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And until next time, bye.